And then came the moment where we did something truly crazy. We signed the letter of intent to buy the hotel, putting all our life savings on the line. If we couldn't find investors for the projects, we risked losing everything. As a child, I always had this feeling deep down. I knew I was meant to achieve something bigger. I knew I would leave Belarus one day. In fact, I still have a video somewhere from my kindergarten days where someone asks me what I want to be when I grow up. My answer? The manager of a big shop. Fast forward to today, that big shop turned into something even better, my own hotel, which I bought with my best friend at the age of 33, and we did it with almost no funds. In this video, I'm going to share the exact steps we took to make this dream a reality. If you're new here, hi, I'm Daria, an entrepreneur, a consultant, a polyglot, and someone who is passionate about self-development and building healthy tips. On this channel, I share my journey and my experiences with you, so don't forget to subscribe if you are also interested in these topics. Now, before diving into the details of how we found our dream hotel and made it happen, I would like to start with a little bit about my background and about what I started. But if you want to jump straight to the part where I talk about searching for the hotel and the steps we took to buy it, feel free to skip ahead using the chapters below this video. I moved to Italy at the age of 21 to study at one of the most prestigious universities in the country. People often told me it wasn't possible, that only wealthy students could afford it, or that scholarships were out of reach. But I decided to give it a shot. I studied economics and languages, choosing English and German as my main languages. German was a kind of a strategic choice because many destinations in northern Italy work with German-speaking tourists and with German businesses. I started completely from zero with German. By the way, if you're curious about how I learned to use German in my everyday lives, there is a video on my YouTube channel about it. I'll leave you the link after this video. I graduated with both my bachelor's and my master's degrees cum laude, so with the highest notes. It wasn't easy, but I was highly motivated because scholarships were like the only way to stay in Italy and to afford university. Without them, I would have had to pay the tuition fee myself, and at the same time, I was already working part-time as a waiter to cover my basic living expenses since I had no financial support for my studies or for my life in Italy. During my studies, I went on Erasmus to Salzburg, Austria, to improve my German skills, and I fell in love with the magic of that city, the city of sound of music. After completing my master's in Italy, I decided to return to Salzburg for a second master's degree. This time I specialized in innovation and management in tourism and even started learning Chinese as a foreign language. Unfortunately, the only thing I can confidently say in Chinese now is ni hao ma. But maybe one day I'll pick it up again. While in Salzburg, I work again to support myself, and this time I found a position within the Accor Hotel chain. For those who don't know it, Accor is one of the largest hotel chains in the world, and I think the biggest one in Europe, with brands like Ibis, Mercure, Novotel, Sofitel, Raffles, and Fairmont. And it was here where I fell in love with the world of hospitality even more. However, I realized I wanted to do more than handle the day-to-day operations in one hotel. I wanted to create something bigger, something impactful for multiple hotels, something that doesn't depend on the whole strategy for all countries in the world for the whole hotel chain. And here we come to one of the most crucial turning points in my life: consulting. I've made a couple of videos about my experience in consulting, one about why you shouldn't join the field and another one about the essential skills and opportunities it brought into my life. I will leave the links also in this case below if you want to dive deeper into those topics. My journey into consulting started through a connection I made at a fair in Moscow when I was, I think, 18 years old. helping my mother with her travel agency. At that event, I met the owner of a consulting company. He was representing one of the most important five-star hotels. So somehow, since 2008, we stayed in touch. During my studies in Italy, he occasionally suggested I give consulting a try, but I wasn't ready. I wanted to explore the world first, to learn German first. It wasn't until my time in Salzburg that I felt ready to accept the challenge. One day I decided to give hotel consulting a shot, and that decision changed my life drastically. For the first 4 or 5 years, I practically lived between the office and my car. I was determined to learn as much as possible, and often that meant finishing my work during the office hours and dedicating my free time to mastering new skills, to know more about hospitality, to new soft skills. It was really exhausting, but I think it was really rewarding for my personal growth. Those years in consulting were intense and I learned so much really, especially about managing and marketing within the hotel industry. I had the privilege of working with premium 4-star or 5-star hotels across northern Italy. Each hotel had its own unique challenges, financial situations, and teams of people behind it. Through these experiences, I not only expanded my knowledge but also met some unforgettable people. And between those people was the hotel director of one of the 4-star hotels that I was doing consulting for. And in the beginning, we actually didn't like each other, but months or maybe years later, we ended up becoming best friends. My best friend once shared his dream with me to buy a hotel. He told me how he was saving nearly every penny, cutting costs whatever he could. He's Marcan, also a foreigner in Italy, and one of the hardest working persons I know in this world. Somehow, without even thinking twice, I replied him, that sounds like a wonderful idea. I've always wanted that too, so let's try then. And just like that, the journey began. We sat down together and tried to describe the hotel of our dreams on paper. The ideal location, Lake Garda, South Tyrol or Trentino. What kind of a hotel? 40, 50 rooms, a breathtaking view, a pool and a garden. Okay, fine. So let's go and search for it. From there, we started searching for hotels online, contacting every single real estate agency we could find, and traveling from South Tyrol, where we both lived at the moment, to Lake Garda. It was about 200 kilometers away. Whenever someone asked us if we already had the funds, our answer was always, yes, of course, we already have investors. And in reality, we had no one. So, looking back now, I'm shocked at how we went about it. Just two crazy people dreaming big without any solid plan how to find money. But deep down, we truly believed it would work. We had no idea how, but we couldn't accept any other outcome. We were just sure we would manage to do it, to pull it off. Of course, it wasn't always smooth. Some days after visiting a few potential projects, we would drive back home feeling completely defeated, and we would sometimes stop at McDonald's that actually I hate and I would never go there to eat something, but simply because we were so drained and exhausted emotionally and mentally, we just saw in that junk food a kind of psychological support or something like that. And we would look at these beautiful properties and hotels and realize we couldn't afford them. It was tough to accept, to face that reality. We had experienced creative ideas and an endless supply of energy, but we were poor. Still, despite the frustration and setbacks, we kept going. We had a dream, and there was no way we were going to give up on it. So, one day we came across a charming 3-star hotel that today is already a 4-star hotel, with a breathtaking view of the lake, located right in front of one of the most iconic buildings on Lake Garda, Villa Feltrinelli. And guess what? It had 44 rooms, 2 gardens and an indoor pool. It was almost exactly as we had described it on paper. Of course, it wasn't the hotel of our dreams because we wanted to build five-star hotels. But as we say in hospitality, location, location, and location again. To that, I would add volumetric data. In this industry, you need typically like 40-50 rooms to generate better margins and to sustain the business and have the resources to reinvest in bigger projects. This property ticked all those boxes and even more. It was located in a fast-growing destination in one of the most prestigious and authentic villages on Lake Garda. The area was surrounded by five-star hotels and Michelin-starred restaurants, and it was a clear indicator of its potential. And then there was the cherry on the top, a sky terrace. So if you don't know it, on Lake Garda, properties this close to the water rarely have terraces like that on the rooftop. We immediately started imagining the possibilities: a sky pool, luxurious suites with breathtaking views on the lake and on the villas or on Villa Feltrinelli in front of us. It wasn't just a hotel anymore, it was our heart's project, something we could create, our baby, you know? And then came the moment where we did something truly crazy. We signed the letter of intent to buy the hotel, putting all our life savings on the line. If we couldn't find investors for the projects, we risked losing everything, and we had only 3-4 months of time. What was the biggest challenge? Well, we didn't have investors yet. And here's how it works. To buy a hotel in Italy, you generally need 20% of the purchase price, so of your own capital, while the other 80% can be financed through a bank. Luckily, securing bank support wasn't an issue for us. We had experience in the field and a very solid business plan. Because I learned it during my consulting journey, so I did it for many other hotels and situations, so we had a lot of experience in the field. But finding that 20% was a different story. It was very difficult. We had only 3-4 months of time to make it happen, so we started searching for investors immediately. There were days when we drove over 1,000 kilometers in a single day, traveling abroad for meetings, pitching our project to anyone who would listen to us. We sent out countless emails, WhatsApp messages, and had dozens of conversations. And finally, we narrowed it down to 2 options. One of them came actually from within the company I was working for. I think it was thanks to my dedication and hard work over the previous years that they believed in us and in our project, in our vision. It was a kind of win-win situation, so they saw the potential of the projects and offered us better conditions and terms than other investors. Additionally, they were from the same field, so we spoke the same language and shared the same passion for hospitality. So thanks to their support, we were able to secure the funding we needed and take the final steps to acquire the hotel. It felt surreal, like incredible, but also like it was like everything was falling into place just as it was meant to be. So, to sum up, I would like to share 3 pieces of advice that I learned from this journey. So the first point is set clear goals. Always know what you're aiming for. We had a very specific vision of the hotel we wanted, and we wrote it on a paper, and we stayed focused on finding exactly that. We didn't get distracted by opportunities that didn't match our criteria. And what was important, we described every single point we were searching for. And it helped us a lot on determining what was important for us and what wasn't. The second one is gaining experience. Experience builds trust. It makes it easier to convince investors and banks to believe in you. Plus, working in the field helps you build the right network connections, to build your reputation that can support your ideas and open many doors for you in the future. And the last point is create pressure to fuel action. Sometimes having no choice pushes you to come up with your best ideas and boldest actions. Well, I'm not saying everyone needs to take the kind of risk that we did, but you can stimulate that sense of urgency. Give yourself one option to succeed within a set of deadline or lose the opportunity. You will be amazed at how resourceful and determined you can become. So, if you enjoyed this video, I've linked other videos about my journey below. And if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out. I would love to answer to all your questions, requests, and so on. So thank you for watching me and see you in the next video.